I think I just made the most busted Arc Hunter build in Destiny 2. Like, this thing is insane. This build will make you produce ionic traces and bolt charges very quickly, and you're also going to be getting your super very fast. And you'll also become a tank while blinding and jolting everything in front of you. If you'd like to try out the build for yourself, the mobalytics will be in the description. So here is how we can be able to get our super very quickly. The exotic armor piece you're going to need to use for this build is the Raiju's Harness. The armor perk is called Mobius Conduit. While you activate your Gathering Storm, it will call down a lightning strike on all nearby targets. It will jolt them while also amplifying your allies. When defeating arc debuff targets that will be blind or jolt, it will grant a small amount of Gathering Storm energy. And we are going to be applying a lot of arc debuffs with our weapons and with our abilities. So your main goal for this exotic armor piece is to make your Gathering Storm hit a high valued enemy that has a bunch of health, such as champions, bosses, etc. Because as you activate your super, it can either do two things when it comes to refunding your super energy. It would either get hits from your Gathering Storm or just kills. So for the main exotic weapon we're going to be using for this build is the Arc Trace Rifle called the Lodestar. I only put this for two things. One, tying it to the seasonal artifacts, and two, because of what it does. The intrinsic trait is called Starlight Beam. This weapon fires a low intensity arc beam with enhanced stability and accuracy. So this is a primary trace rifle. Yes, you heard that right. And the main nitty gritty for this trace rifle is the weapon perk, which is arc alignment. When dealing arc damage from any source, aligns the battery's coils. So that could be like your abilities, this weapon in particular, or any other weapon that has a based arc damage. So when the alignment is complete, press your reload button to disengage the safety and enable the hip fire Starlight Beam to apply jolt to any target damage for a short time, while you ADS to slow the rate at which the battery drains. So here's what you're going to want to do when it comes to using this trace rifle. You're going to want to fill up the bar on the bottom left of the screen. Once the bar is filled, hold the reload button to activate arc alignment. Afterwards, be sure to hip fire the enemy to jolt them. Once that enemy is jolted, be sure to ADS and kill that jolted enemy, because once you do, every enemy around that jolted target will become blinded. And when it comes to the most efficient way to produce the arc alignment buff, you're going to want to hip fire every enemy you see, because it gives you 3% charge, and if you were to hip fire the enemy, it would give you 1% charge. Also too, for any non-Lodestar arc hits, it would give you 1% charge. So that would be your abilities or your arc weapons. I also want to let you guys know that you can deal increased damage with this exotic weapon whenever you're dealing damage to arc debuffed enemies. Again, blinded or jolted enemies. So you'll be dealing 30% increase in damage. The catalyst really isn't necessary for this build because we're tying it to the seasonal artifacts, but here's what it does. While amplified, this weapon gains greatly increased reload speed, aim assist, and movement speed while ADS. I'm not going to go all the way in depth on the seasonal artifacts, but if you really want to copy it, feel free to do so right now. But to sum it up, I mainly tie it to the trace rifle and also producing ionic traces, which will give us even more super energy, and also increasing our reload speed for our arc weapons and increasing our bolt charge damage, and also getting increased gains while we have bolt charge. For the special weapon, I decided to put this sidearm called the Tenacious Mastery, mainly due to stunning every champion in the game. And if you want to do that, all you would need is Chill Clip. Also too, I do want to mention this, while you're at max stacks of bolt charge and you were to apply Chill Clip onto enemies, you will actually cast bolt charge, because if you didn't know, in order for you to activate bolt charge, you would need to use your abilities to proc it. But by having Chill Clip, it counts as an elemental debuff, which will also activate bolt charge. And the third perk you're going to want to go for is either air trigger or loose change. For the power weapon, you can choose any arc machine gun you like. I went with the new Terminus Horizon. You can also use the one in the episode Heresy. I forgot the name of the LMG, but you can pick that one, because all you would need is Rolling Storm, because Rolling Storm also produces bolt charges whenever you get kills, and while you're amplified, you would get additional bolt charges. And also on the third column, be sure to go for Eddy Current to increase your reload speed even further. Okay, let's head to the Arctrider Hunter subclass. For your super, you're gonna have to go for Gathering Storm, because out of all of the supers for the Arc Hunter, this is the one that deals high amounts of damage. And also, you're gonna have to type for this build. For the aspects, on your first one, you're gonna want to go for Flow State, because while you were to defeat jolted targets, it would make you amplified. Also, if you didn't know, while you are amplified, you would get a plus 15% damage resist. And while you are amplified, your dodge recharges more quickly, and you are more resilient while dodging. Last but not least, your reload speed is greatly increased. The second aspect you're going to want to put is Tempest Strike, because this is the main aspect when it comes to producing bolt charges. So while you slide, activate your charge melee ability to unleash a devastating uppercut attack that travels along the ground in front of you. It will damage them and jolt them. Also too, while defeating jolted targets, it will grant a stack of bolt charge. On your class ability, go for Gambler's Dodge, because while you dodge near enemies, it will get your melee back. And the melee we're using for this build is Combination Blow. The only reason I put this one is because of the base cooldown, even though we're using Gambler's Dodge, but you never know. For your arc grenade, you can choose any grenade you like, but I feel most comfortable using Flash Grenade because this thing will stun unstoppable champions, because this will blind enemies. So for the fragments, there's 4 in total. When it comes to survivability, be sure to go for Spark of Resistance, because this will give you a 25% damage resist whenever you're surrounded by 3 or more enemies. And in this build, we are going to be close and personal. The second fragment will increase your bolt charge gains, and it's called Spark of Frequency. There's 2 sections to this. The first one is melee hits increase your equipped weapon's reload speed and stability for a short time. And the best part is that while you are amplified, we're going to be amplified 100% of the time, the effects are increased and you gain increased stacks of bolt charges from all sources. So that could be your weapons, your abilities, etc. The third fragment I put is Spark of Ions. So while we were to defeat a jolted target or defeating a target with a bolt charge, it will create an Ionic Trace. So while we pick up an Ionic Trace, it will grant us grenade, melee, and class ability energy. And that's just from one Ionic Trace. And in this build, we're going to be producing a boatload of those. The final fragment I put is Spark of Discharge. Arc weapon final blows have a chance to create an Ionic Trace. Also too, when collecting an Ionic Trace grants you a stack of bolt charge. So the Ionic Trace gives you ability energy and also gives you bolt charges. And for each Ionic Trace you collect while you were amplified, it will give you ×2 bolt charges. And all you will need is 10 stacks of bolt charges to create that powerful lightning strike. And also too, you are going to be receiving melee energy for each bolt charge you gain. For the stats, here's what you're going to want to go first. Your main priority is to go for intellect because this is a super build, and your second priority is to go for resilience to give you that 30% damage reduction if you have tier 10 resilience. But if you don't really care about going for intellect, you can also go for recovery too for more survivability. All right, let's head to the armor mods for this build. Let's start with the helmet. You're first going to want to go for Heavy Ammo Finder. It increases the drop chance of heavy ammo upon defeating an enemy. The second one, go for Harmonic Siphon, which ties to your super, and the super that we are using is Arc, so it's considered Arc Siphon, but it's cheaper. So rapid arc weapon final blows will create an orb of power. The final mod, go for Dynamo to 1, reduce your super cooldown while you're dodging near enemies, because remember, we are using Gambler's Dodge, and in order for you to get your melee back, you're going to want to be dodging near enemies. For your gauntlets, go for Heavy Handed. Your powered melee final blows drops an orb of power, and the cooldown from this is 10 seconds. The next 2 mods I put is tied to our melee ability. So I put Impact Induction, that whenever you cause damage with your powered melee attack, it will reduce your grenade cooldown. And the next one is Focusing Strike, grants class ability energy whenever you cause damage with the powered melee attack. And when it comes to the chest armor mods, you can freely choose any armor mods you like, but what I used for this build is Harmonic Resistance, Solar Resistance, and Void Resistance. For your leg armor, go for Recuperation for more survivability, so whenever you pick up an orb of power, it will give you health. To be more specific, it would give you 70 HP per orb of power pickup. And the next 2 armor mods I put to increase my damage for my arc weapons is Arc Weapon Surge. So we are using 2 stacks of these, so it will increase your arc weapon damage by 17%. Last but not least, for the Hunter Cloak, I went with Reaper. Shortly after using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an orb of power. And also too, as you're activating your class ability, you're going to be collecting nearby orbs of power because I used a powerful attraction. And for the final mod for this build, I went with Time Dilation to increase the timer for my armor charges. So now it's going to last up to 15 seconds instead of 10 seconds. I only do this to increase my damage when it comes to my arc weapons because remember, we're using Arc Weapon Surge. I really hope you guys did enjoy this build video. And if you guys need any help in Destiny 2, I do go live on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday over on Twitch and Kick. I also go live an hour before reset. And if you need help, let me know. I'll be over there. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, evening, or afternoon. Take care and peace.